so excited.
It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Guys and a Goalie. No Joaquin Gage today. He's on mandatory vacation as put in place by Matthew Owanek. But look who I found laying around the office here.
Wow.
YouTube Trev is going to slide in today.
How's it going?
Cass is all nervous. He says he's all nervous.
I love
today,
it.
you know?
I love it. Nothing to be nervous about, man. I love it. And you know what, guys? It's still Two Guys and a Goalie because I recently went and played some ball hockey and I had to play goalie.
Really?
So I got all kinds of yeah.
So why
I'm proud to say,
was this with other grown adults or like how did you end up having to go in net?
Well, the guy that normally plays net was he's was on shutdown at work at one of the plants here in Edmonton, and so he just was too busy. So it was like so it was like we were going to jump in.
How was it, Cass? How exhausted were you?
I was so tired.
Yeah,
I think I lost like 5 pounds. In sweat. Like I weighed myself after. My wife said, "Why are you weighing yourself in the evening?" And I'm like, I sweat the whole time. Like it was brutal.
Now, was this league play, or was it just dropping with the boys?
Like, just drop in with the boys.
Oh, that would be fun.
Dropping with the boys.
Any good saves, Cass?
Yeah. Did you?
I had one really good one. Yeah, one really good one. I did pad stack a couple times. I was really because I just have fun with it. So I ran interference a lot. Like I tried to Mike Smith it, so I was out of the net all the time, like trying to make plays. Which was pretty fun, and like interfering with guys as they're trying to forecheck and all that, like just messing with people. And I had one really good save. I wasn't great. I forgot the up down and that actually is tiring and difficult when you're older and bigger. But I had one really good save where it was like a pass. So I made the first save and then it was a pass and I was down and out, but like the dive back with the paddle save on the empty net. Just got so on one, and it was on one of my buddies, Chris, who had a horrible night, as it were, as he said before that, and he was like, that was his moment to turn his night around. He's like, I'm going to start playing well now. I'm going to get this goal, this tap in, and I'm going to feel great, and I snuffed it out. So it was good.
Yeah, did you ever play goal in like street hockey or anything? Like,
street hockey?
Were you a goalie or?
Yeah, I mean every now and then you like to
throw the pads on.
It's fun. But I only have one game growing up. It was novice where I was goalie. And I was happy. My first ever game, first and only game as goalie, I got a shutout.
Really?
I will say. I was pretty proud. It was a good moment. Yeah. So but I decided to retire then. And put up the laces and put up the pads.
That's awesome.
I was.
Want to know the last time I played goal? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
Dusty, and then I got one more little story.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the last time I played goalie like on ice would have been probably around the same age, Trev, and it was in the moms game, like kids versus the moms, maybe even younger, like in like 9 years old.
You got to start in kid versus moms game.
I got to start in kids versus moms, and I got lit up, and then I'm like, nope, never doing this again.
Against the moms,
that was it.
That's a tough one.
Against the moms. Moms lit me up, and I was like, nope, done. Not doing this anymore.
I was a goalie from about 9 to 15, so I played 6 years in net, and it was fun. I liked it. I was blind for about 4 years. Until I realized I needed glasses. Oh. And then when I got glasses, I was like, holy crap, you can see the puck at the blue line. Like I never picked it up until it was like in like the slot. I'd be like, oh, there it is. And I actually, once I started seeing it, I got worse. I don't know what it was. It was just like, as soon as I started picking the puck up further out, I couldn't stop it worth anything. Totally but then I guess it would have been like the last time I played net on ice. I never really played net in street hockey, but the last time I played net on ice, I was about 25, 26. So we're looking like 15 years ago. and I was in Fort McMurray because I played with I had a great weeknight, like once a week skate with a bunch of newfies up in Fort Mac. Just the best dudes. Like, it was an awesome time. And one night the goalie, like, we had the equipment, but the goalie no-showed. They're like, who wants to go in net? And I was like, I played net 10 years ago. Like, I'll throw it on. And my God, was that a difficult experience. I was just like, this is not what I remembered. Like, the equipment was a lot lighter than when I played, but I was just like, it killed me. Like, an hour of like shinny killed me.
The up and downs.
Yeah, man. It was, oh God, it was tough.
Yeah.
I would not want to.
That's right. Like,
to do that again.
end of the night. Oh, I told guys, I'm like, this is the only time. I'm like, this is never happening again. But by the end of the night, I was Dominic Hasek, like where I just wasn't getting up.
Yeah.
Like, it was in our end. I was down. Yeah. I just basically stayed down the whole time. It was in our end, and then just like flop around and try to cover as much as possible. Cause I'm like, no, nothing left in the tank. Kind of like the Edmonton Oilers against
exactly. I do have, like, I think it's because I played goal as a kid, but I wanted one of my kids to become a goalie. Like, and Marshall
has the size.
Like, Marshall has the size, and when they were doing like U7 before they had goalies, he always wanted to be in net, and he wouldn't have any equipment. Like, he'd just be himself, and he was just loving it. And then he did play like 4 or 5 times last year, and he was good at, like, he's quick reflexes for a big guy, but the getting up and he was just like, ugh.
It's tough.
And then Elizabeth actually kind of likes it, so she might be my last hope between the pipes, unless Tam wants to have another kid that we can raise as a goalie from like birth.
Yeah.
But I think, and Lizzie likes it. She's a really good skater, so I think she's gonna like being out a lot. But
she potted a few this year. It's always fun. Like, it's always fun for me every now and then. I could never make it, like, I could never be the goalie, but changing between forward and then every now and then just putting on the pads, it was always fun. It was a good change. I liked it a lot.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You know, let's just stay on the goalie conversation. Kass, what do you think of Olivier Rodrigues last night?
He was okay. Probably not going to be the starter in playoffs.
I don't think so.
No, but he was okay. He was fine. I mean, it's tough to say. Like, it's hard to really get a grasp on the guy, especially since some of the chances that were given up. Like, you look at the goals that were scored. There were the first 2 in particular, like the Gauthier goals, and it's just like you kind of hang out to dry a little bit on him, which is kind of apt for Oilers goalies. But yeah, I thought he was steady. It wasn't like he blew me away from an impressive standpoint, but yeah, he was just kind of fine. The Oilers just couldn't score, so didn't get the run support.
Button said this morning on our show he doesn't think he's going to be an NHL goalie. I mean, it's been 7 years since he's been drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, you think it by now, especially with a goaltending, like, it's been a little, like, there could have maybe been some opportunities if they viewed him as that. Yeah. Trev, did you think, I mean, could he be a backup? Could he be like career backup guy? It's
interesting because the first thing I thought of last night watching him, I thought he was calm. Like, for his first game, like, I don't think there was a few saves where he didn't know where the puck was, which, I mean, that happens to the best of you. But I don't know. I thought for the most part, he looked good. And there was a few plays where I was like, you know what? I was leaning more towards, okay, I think he belongs than he doesn't belong. Like, there was nothing where I was like, okay, yeah, he clearly needs more time.
He looks way over his head type of thing.
Yeah, like, I was like, okay, like, he looks not bad. And so there's a few good plays. And the one thing that stood out, the first goal there, I mean, it's a 2-on-1, it's a one-timer. I mean, there's not a lot of goalies that are making that save in the NHL. That's a special goalie that's making that one. But the first thing I thought, I was like, man, he was fast. Like, his reaction time was fast. I was like, I think he's got speed. Like, I think
he moves around okay. Yeah.
And so the first thing I thought, I was like, I think he's faster in net than maybe is that a hot take? I don't know, but I think he's faster than Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner. And so that was the first thing that I thought. So I was like, yeah, I think he's fast in net. And then Craig Budden came in and he said, he's not fast, he's not strong. And so I was like, I kind of disagreed with that.
Well, I think what that might come from is that Skinner doesn't move around the crease well at all.
Yeah.
So, like, you see a guy who does kind of move around okay, and you're like, oh. Like, if Skinner could move around the crease like Rodrigue does, Stuart Skinner be a pretty damn good goalie, don't you think, Kass?
Yeah, I mean, I take flack all the time for being pro Stuart Skinner, and so I'll probably take more flack for this. Like, I do think he's a pretty good goalie. And I think, laterally, yes, that's an area where he's not the strength of his game. But a lot of times when people are criticizing him for his lateral movement, it's on a play like that, like when it's a backdoor 1T. And people are like, the lateral movement.
Like, for example, on that first goal last night. Yeah, that's
like
fair.
on that first goal. Fair. And it's just like, well, nobody, like very rarely is a goalie actually going to get that. And I didn't think, like, I kind of agree with Button in that, like, even on that play, like, I don't think he gets there any faster than Stuart Skinner does on that play. I don't think, like, it probably was about the same. I don't, in that specific play, in that specific instance, I wouldn't be like, oh, he's so much faster than Stuart Skinner on that. And,
I mean, part of me
that's
thinks, though, Skinner just throws one leg out, though, and doesn't even push across. Like, we've seen.
Well, because he's got, like, there's no, like, it's like, well, if I push across, I'm not going to get there in time because there's no way I'm getting across to the back door because there's no way anybody's getting across to the back door.
Yeah.
So just throwing a leg out there and hoping
you got to be a special goalie to get there on that one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's like a Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky thing.
Hellebuck, maybe.
Maybe
Hellebuck. But I think overall for a first start in the NHL, it was against the Ducks. Like, I think you can't really look at Rodrigue and be like, hey, he's the reason why they lost last night's game.
No, he's not.
And I think,
no, definitely not.
I mean, going in, I was pleasantly surprised. I'd probably put it at that with his game. I thought he did okay.
Kass, what would you say was the reason the Oilers lost that game last night?
Evan Bouchard?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that and say, am I taking it too far by hanging the loss on Bouchard? Because they did have like 47 shots and guys could have scored more.
Yeah.
But there's
I think ultimately
mistakes by Bouch last night.
Like, well, ultimately it is a combination, right? Like, they didn't score. They had 80 million shots.
Power play was over.
They had 80 million chances. Power play sucked. You should have been able to generate a goal somewhere in there. Another one, the one more. But Bouchard also had two horrible plays that led to 2 goals against that put you in a bind. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's both, but it's pretty hard. Trev, wouldn't you think not to pin this on Evan Bouchard and just watch those 2 plays and be like, oh, man, that did it. That sunk him.
That's tough. Yeah, no, that's actually, you're 100%, you're spot on there, Kass. And I was actually going to ask you a question, like, what happens? I mean, you played in the NHL. I'm very curious. Time after time, this is a reoccurring thing. I know there's video, the whole team, we saw it last year. I mean, you see clips of, Chris Knobloch, he's going through the team and he's like, okay, this is what we got to do here. It's the video prep you do. But is there ever one-on-one? Is that a thing? Is Chris Knobloch after a game like that, or is it Paul Coffey? Is it the whole coaching staff? Is after a bad game, after a bad stretch, is that a thing in the NHL? Or I just got a whole talking to from the whole coaching staff and about last night's game, and like, where do you go on from that if it keeps on going?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have happened right after the game because generally the coaching staff is going to want to watch. They're going to look at the video. They're going to make sure that what they think they saw is what they saw. Like, they're going to check, and they're going to reevaluate. But there will be instances where it's like, and usually would start with the defense coach in an instance like that. So it's going to be Coffey generally that's going to sit down and have those conversations. But as things escalate, and if they don't get fixed and they continue to happen, then all of a sudden it's like the more people they're in a video meeting, or the more people they're in a meeting when you go in with any kind of coaches, GMs, anyone, usually the worse it is. The more people are there, you're like, oh crap, like this isn't good.
Everyone seems to be here today.
Everyone seems to be here today. Something's happening, and sometimes that means you're traded, and sometimes it means that you're going to get a stern talking to. And Knobloch comes across to me as a guy that's going to try to be more constructive with it. Like, they're going to try to make him better and not necessarily beat him up, but you also have to find a feel for the player where the player, is he a carrot guy or is he a stick guy, right? Like, do you have to give him pats in the back and that's going to make him better, or is it challenge him verbally and from an ice time standpoint, is that going to make him better? But whatever they're doing, like, they got to do something, because it has been a whole year of just those big gaffes in the defensive zone that I've said it over and I'll say it again. Like, what he brings in the offensive zone is spectacular.
It is.
And he late in the game. And most of the time you are willing to give up that occasional blunder for the offense he brings you. It's tough in a game, though, where you don't have your two best offensive players and you still make those defensive blunders, and there's not the offensive upside in it to help you out. So, yeah, you're getting called in. And the more coaches, like usually would start with Coffee, and then maybe, you start adding in the other coaches if you're looking at power play and you need Golitzin in there or whoever it is. And then maybe you have the whole coaching staff in, and they all just sit and have a pleasant conversation.
Yeah.
It's tough because you said it. I said it this morning. It was weird this morning because our show started and I was just like, man, Bouchard, you can't get beaten like that. And then by the end of the 6 o'clock hour, I was defending him because people were like, he's going to be replaced by Bo Akey. I'd rather give Broberg the $10 million. Like people were, but Kass, I can understand why fans would watch him get walked by Cutter Gauthier and then again later in the game by Troy Terry and be like, man, you're going to pay that guy $10 million bucks. That's a tough look. Like, I know they're going to, and I think they have to, but
they have to.
They have to. I mean, you're just going to have to live with that, or just a couple of the plays last night were just so bad. Tough. You're like,
and it's like, that's where for me, I feel like, and again, Kass, you were in the NHL, you know this, but as far as being coached, like I feel like the easiest thing to coach a player is effort and just battle level and just intensity.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's where the lapse is, because how many times are you going to call Evan Bouchard into your office to be like, again, like you're not back checking, you're not, and so that's where the frustration sets in. It's like, that's the easiest part, right? Like it's the battle level, like just go out there and give 100%, not 80%. And it's very frustrating if you're a fan. I'm a fan. And just seeing that, it's just like, okay, that should be in your DNA, like as a competitor, to just go out there and, at the beginning of the season, we were talking about the sweat test or the sweat meter for Evan Bouchard. He probably wasn't sweating at all the first 20 games just because you see it on almost every game. It's tough.
Yeah. There's a difference to me, and this is my opinion. There's a difference to me, like when we talk about guys just being competitive and guys having the oomph in their play and that sweat, if you would call it the sweat test. There's a difference between the two, because I think guys can be competitive and want to win and want to play well, and that intensity is something completely different. And I think I would, Trev, like it seems easy for us on the outside to see, like, why can't you just be intense? Like you should just, to me, that's the hardest thing to coach into a player, to me, is intensity. It's the hardest thing to coach into a player. Like give me a guy any day that's got a heartbeat and a pulse.
So that's like a DNA thing,
like,
basically. Is what
it is a DNA thing. Like where like it's way easier to have to rein a guy in and to have to pull him back to be like, hey man, you can't be doing that. Like you gotta dial it down a little bit. Like calm down out there. Way easier to like get someone to calm down out there than to try to be like, hey, like you got to get going. And the challenging thing about how you have to approach that with Evan Bouchard is, that same not having a pulse in the defensive zone where it seems all nonchalant is what makes him so good in the offensive zone, right? Like that just stone cold ice in his veins, like that in the offensive zone, that's fantastic because he has patience. He waits guys out. He waits for lanes to open. Like he's so good offensively because of that. But sometimes it just hits you defensively where it's like, oh, this guy's not even trying. This guy's not even moving. This guy's not even skating. And it's again, I think it's just a part of his DNA. But the challenge for the staff is how do you pull out a little bit more of that aggression in the defensive zone, but then still just kind of leave him in the offensive zone and let him do his thing there. Like it's a tricky line to watch and really hard on how to coach it. And again, like it's so simple for us to watch and say, he just needs to be more aggressive. But it's easy for us to watch and because we can see it. And I don't doubt that he can't see it too. And the coaching staff sees it, but it's like, okay, well, how do you get this guy there? Like, how do you teach that? Like, how do you teach intensity? Yeah. Like it's like you can teach positioning, you can teach, you can tell them all you want. You need to have a better battle level. And for some guys, they're going to hear it, but I don't know, guys with ice in their veins like that, it's tough to pull that out of them. It just is.
You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. We are in a full-blown boost conversation now, so let's stick with it. If you're watching on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up, sub to the channel if you haven't already. Reed Wilkins with a wrench. over in the chat. He'll be live today from 3 to 6 at Bellinscona. If you want to swing by there, we've got our Edmonton Sports Talk Bids for Kids event tonight, which also is presented to you by GS Construction. It's very same as two guys and a goalie here. Reed says Bouchard's ready position is standing straight up, not the athletic stance we're taught in grade 1. Which, I mean, he is a little upright a lot of the time, isn't he, Kass?
Yeah. Yeah, but again, like it's his dinner, right? It's in his dinner.
Okay, so people are, because we basically said you have to pay him, and some people are taking exception to that. The KB says to say you have to pay him is absolutely insane. Why would you have to? 10 million for a breakout pass? Can't we find somewhere else? Brandon says we'll be paying Bouchard 10 mil and Rogers $30 per beer next season to cover it. So I think it was where was the C Run was in there too. Yeah, it says, do you guys have a number and stick to it and then let him try restricted free agency if that is the case?
What do you mean number and stick to it? Like his number's going to be 10-5.
If you say, hey man, we got $9.5 million for you. That's it. Take it or leave it. Yeah. Would you stick to your guns on the take it or leave it?
No, because he's going to leave it. He's gone. He's gone at that. And you're getting nothing.
Sorry, Kass. The last thing you want is another Dylan Holloway situation, letting someone leave for $1 million where you couldn't match it.
Yeah.
And going elsewhere, seeing Evan Bouchard have success, wherever it may be, if that was the case, down south, wherever it is. I mean, it's inevitable that he's going through a slump. I mean, usually every player will have a really, really great year, a good coming out party, and then they'll kind of dial it back that next year. That doesn't mean that, it's normal. I feel like in the NHL, you see it time and time again, but you match whatever this guy wants, because honestly, as we've learned this season, it's how many people were, upset with Holloway, okay, like go down yonder, that's fine. But then here we are, we're entertaining the fact that, that's embarrassing that the Oilers didn't match and it was $1 million. Like you have to. Yeah. Like I don't want to entertain another. Bouchard goes elsewhere. He finished his career 80-point seasons, okay, and but you let that guy go. It's
not just to let him go. I mean, he's an RFA. He has ARB rights. I mean, I don't know what that would look like. The other thing
it would look like 10 and 10-5. That's what ARB rights look like.
Okay, or
11.
I think what the other people are saying, like Gus over in the chat says, nope, you do not match on anything over 10 mil. Kass, would you like? I don't think they're like, to me, as frustrating as Bouchard is. And I think he's more of a train wreck defensively than some of the very pro Bouchard people do. I do think he is very smart offensively. I think the mind is there offensively. And I do think that's valuable. But if he goes, look, man, my number's 10.5, 11 mil. And they're like, no, it's not. We can't do it. Would you trade him? Would you trade him and try to get another defenseman and maybe something else back?
Well, what are you going to
would you trade him?
Where are you going?
Before overpaying him, I guess would be my question.
Well, what's over? You got to clarify this first. What's overpaying?
Well, what do you think his number should be?
He's going to come in at around 11. The team's going to come in around 9.
It's going to be, so if it's more than 10 million, would you trade him?
No, they're probably going to settle at 10.5.
Okay.
And the only reason they're going to settle at 10.5 is going to be the number went up by 500,000. Right, because recently you had some contracts that got signed for defensemen that have less points than he do.
I mean, Chikrin's deal is the floor for Bouchard.
Was the floor? It's lower than the floor. It's lower. That upped the floor by 500,000. Right, so the floor for Evan Bouchard is 9.5. Right, and they're going to come in their side at 11. Like it to me, it ends up somewhere around 10.5, and you have to pay it. Now, if they were at like 12. If they're like, oh, no, 12 is the only number, then you got to look at trading them. But, in that 10.5 to 11 range.
Who's going to trade for him knowing that he wants $12 million?
That's tough.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. And I get he's RFA, but you could go ARB, but ARB is going to give him, 10.5, 11 on a 1 year or 2 year deal. You're going to be paying the same thing. Like you have to, because the heaviest thing they're going to weigh on is the offensive numbers. And he's among the best in the league offensive numbers. And you cannot tell me that you should compare this to Cale. Well, look at what Cale Makar makes. Look at what Hughes makes. Different deals signed at different times. Chychrun just signed for 9.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to pay him $5 million. Like
Chychrun's the comparison because it happened now.
Yeah,
it's the most recent one.
Yeah, I mean that's the one that I think they're gonna most reasonably look at. So, I don't know. I mean, that's why who was it? Somebody, I don't know if it was Button or somebody. I know it came up today. So he's like, you know what? You pay Bouchard, and you try to put good defensive pieces around him. Like, and that's what we've seen with Ekholm. Like Ekholm has been, now you're going to have to find an Ekholm post Ekholm to maybe be, and it's not ideal, but oh boy, yeah, what a fascinating conversation we're going to have as this Bouchard deal gets sorted out, man.
Yeah, lots of good off-season content, but like when the goings are good, I did pre and post with Kass and Tommy all postseason last year, and it was just, it was unreal. We didn't talk about Bouch. You know,
he was great in the playoffs.
He coughed up maybe once or twice, which is normal. Everyone does it. But what he was able to do, and I love what Kass said there, like his calm and, you know, he's composed in the defensive end is kind of his kryptonite. But when he does that on the power play, the fake shots, the toe drags, the confidence that he had in last year's playoffs, that player isn't gone. And I feel like people think that was just a one and done thing. I 100% disagree with that. Like, he's still there, and I don't know. You can't let a player like this go for whatever the contract might be, though.
All right, let's move along from the Bouchard conversation. And we've had a few people. I mean, you can text us anytime here on Two Guys A Goalie, 780-218-9999. The Troll has a question for you, Kass. He says, guys, I'm curious what Kass thought of Gudas last night, and he thought the Oilers should have done more to him after the dirty play on Corey Perry. That was a big topic of discussion last night. It looked like things are about to kind of go off, and then in the third period, the Oilers focused on trying to come back and win the hockey game with 24 shots on goal, and the physicalness kind of went by the wayside. But what did you think of the hit on Perry, and then anything that did or didn't happen after?
Yeah, well, it's a very Gudas type hit, and that guy hits like a truck. Like he hits like an absolute truck. And just solid on his feet too. And was it a dirty hit? Yeah, I thought it was dirty. Perry didn't touch the puck; he just sees him and hits him. So it was a very Gudas type play, and it was very Gudas that. I think we have to, like, Darnell Nurse tried to fight him, right? Like guys tried to go at him, and Gudas kept saying no. Now for the Oilers, there's still a chance, especially maybe heading into that third period, where like, hey, there's still a chance we can finish second in the division here. Like we got to try to win this hockey game. And I think that probably was a conversation. And even maybe from Perry, where he's like, hey, just leave it. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, just leave it. Like, don't worry about it. Like, let's go try to win a hockey game. And just with the shift of where the intensity kind of was ramping up. And I think you had guys that were trying to do something about it, even if it's not in the moment. Because in the moment, you don't always see it, right? And it happens so fast. You're like trying to figure out what happened. But I think the Oilers tried to respond. There's nothing there from Gudas, and then the Oilers just kind of said, hey, we gotta worry about winning this hockey game. Now, if they were down 3 goals, or if they were up 3 goals, then all bets should have been off. Yeah. And you just jump the guy. But that's not necessarily the modern NHL. They're just wired a little different that way. And was it a dirty hit? Yep. Would have liked to have seen a response. Yeah, but I think they tried. I think they tried, and I think you saw, like, from Darnell Nurse, where he was trying to get at Gudas.
Follow-up question for you, Trev, and then we'll come to you on it too, Kass. Do you think the Oilers could be bullied out of a playoff series? Do you think they could be pushed out of a playoff series physically?
No, I don't. I mean, I kind of talked about this. I forget when it was, but this team, when they want to play physical, I think that was what was so cool about last year's team. If you wanted to play run and gun, if you wanted a high offense game, if you wanted to have a low scoring event game, they'd adapt to it. It was really cool to watch. And in last year's playoffs, when the teams were physical, the Oilers they'd follow suit. They'd be like, yeah, okay, let's ramp it up. And it all starts with Connor McDavid, who did lead the Oilers forwards in hits last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, you're getting Trent Frederick. You're going to get Evander Kane. You've got Darnell Nurse. You've got Corey Perry. Although this Oilers team isn't as physical and doesn't have the Pat Maroons, the Lucic, and Zach Kassians years prior, this team is still a physical team if they want to be, I think.
That's kind of what it comes down. You want to be, and I just kind of sort of assume come playoff time, Cass, they will want to be.
I think so.
Right? Like, don't you think?
As long as they're healthy enough to be.
Yeah.
And that's a good point too.
Like that to me is the question of it. Like, I don't think, and I think especially if your power play starts clicking at a good level with everyone back, like your power play gets back, if that's humming along, like that's going to be your deterrent. And it's like, well, if teams are trying to be too physical, but you're clean moving the puck north-south and you can be aggressive on that, you could generate a lot. And that will be a deterrent in and of itself. The question to me is that you still have to be healthy, right? Because even if you're doing that, there's going to be times when you're going to get hit, and can you deal with that physically? I think it's a fair question, just not normally, but based on the injury situation, where I think it's okay to have some doubt around that.
All right, if you want to chime in, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. A few other places that I would like to go. The big news here that this is just moving. The Montreal Canadiens are getting Ivan Demidov right now. He's SKA St. Petersburg has announced that Demidov is going to join the Montreal Canadiens immediately, which is pretty big. I mean, he's 19 years old. He was drafted 5th overall in the draft last year and put up 49 points in the KHL this year as a 19-year-old, which is pretty damn impressive. I think it's more points than Michkov had last year. And Michkov was 41 and 47. I mean, for a Montreal team that looks like they're going to be in the playoffs, Cass, how careful do you have to be working in like a young stud like this come playoff time? Because there are high expectations. I would think, like we saw Washington bring in Ryan Leonard. I don't think you see many guys from the KHL join late in the regular season. I think this is a pretty unique spot. St. Petersburg will hold his rights if he doesn't, stick in the NHL right away. Like, he's not going anywhere else. He's going to be a Hab, or he'll be back in the KHL next year. But I'm interested to see how they do this, Cass, but this could be a pretty big piece.
It could be, yeah. It just depends on how he slides in. And interesting from Montreal's standpoint, that they've been playing pretty well. I didn't think that they were going to stick around the playoffs.
They've won 5 in a row, man. They're going to the postseason.
Yeah,
I mean, they'd have to collapse now.
Most likely going. Yeah. And I didn't think they had it in them. I was wrong. Not horribly wrong, but I was definitely wrong about the Montreal Canadiens. And so I'm like, okay, well, does this upset your room from bringing in a young guy here where, the guys that are there have been battling and finding ways to win? Or are they viewing it as just a supplementary piece to say, hey, heading into the playoffs now, we have another option. Someone gets banged up, someone gets hurt, we can maybe give them a look here down the stretch a little bit, see what we have early on, let them play a couple games and see what's there. And then, we have the ability to adjust with it. Is it just like an extra option? Is it a late trade deadline acquisition type of player, right? Where we have a young player coming in, but we can pick him up here after the deadline and actually bring him in and supplement the group we have and not put ourselves in a cap bind because of it. So it's an interesting one to me. I know there's a lot of hype, but you don't really know until we actually see him play, right? And if he's out and he's brutal, or brutal isn't the right term, if he doesn't meet expectations, or if he's a drag at all, well, they're just not going to play him. So it's a pretty, I would say, risk-free move outside of potentially upsetting all those guys that just worked really hard to get you to the playoffs, that someone's job is going to be on the line now.
I just see reaction from Habs fans on Twitter. They're just
I bet
they're losing their minds. Like, he's been released from his contract in St. Petersburg to come and they're working on getting a entry-level deal done with him right now. So, I mean, I've watched a few of his highlights from the KHL. The kid's, he's a wizard. It'd be interesting to see. Montreal's kind of got some young pieces in place here, man.
Yeah.
Like, Slavkovsky's coming around. Obviously, Cole Caulfield's not old yet. Suzuki, their captain, is still, I would deem, like, relatively youngish. They've got Hudson, who's had an absolutely, he's going to win the Calder probably. Yeah. Like, this guy will be the front runner for the Calder next year. I'm pretty sure that'll be he's the real deal. This is a nice little pickup here. We'll see. As Kass said, if he fits in and they can find a place for him, see how it works.
New hook as well, Kirby Doc. It's cool because you've seen teams do this, as you said, Ryan Leonard with the Caps, and it works for some teams and some teams it doesn't. Cale Makar, when he was brought in after he finished in college there for the Avalanche playoff run, he made his debut, scores on his first game, which is really, really cool. So, and you saw last year as well, Logan Stankoven, he came in and he was a difference maker. So it'll be interesting to see. I think he has the skill, but none of those teams are, Montreal Canadiens. That's the mecca of hockey right there.
That's a big spot.
Coming in as a rookie, all of a sudden, I can't imagine what the pressure that just all of that he has to face, but he's a skilled player. I like his chances.
Kass, since we last talked with you, Alexander Ovechkin did become the all-time leading goal scorer in the National Hockey League in classic OV fashion. They finally get a power play in that game. Less than 30 seconds into the power play, they find him in his spot. Wrister, record set, dives on the ice. Nice ceremony after. I thought it was all really well done, didn't you?
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. And just seeing the excitement, and it's great. Who knows if we in our lifetime see that record broken now or whatever it ends up being for OV. It's going to be incredibly challenging for anyone to beat that. And
you're looking at 10 50 goal seasons for Draisaitl or Matthews.
Yep.
From this point on, 10 more.
From this point on,
which might be tough.
It might be tough. Well, and you still don't know. He's still playing, right?
He's not done yet. That's true.
This wasn't a 5-goal season, where he got the 5th one late in the season to finally cross the mark. He's popping still. So, it's unbelievable, guys. It's awesome, exciting, fun seeing everyone kind of on board and watching, and kind of reminisce a little bit to. I remember when I was a kid, watching the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire home run battles, where my dad would have the TV on every night, and just kind of flipping back to watch those two guys.
So good, buddy.
Oh, so awesome. And it kind of had the feeling to it too, where it's just you're not normally a game you'd watch, not normally a time you turn it on or anything, but it's you're watching to see if he does it. So it was a lot of fun.
You weren't even born for that home run chase, were you?
I think I was.
What was it, 98, Kass, or 96?
I was 98.
Was it 98? Yeah, I was in high school. I was working at Save On Foods after high school.
So
I was trying to keep didn't have a phone back then. I think I get home, instantly turn on Sports Center on TSN and be like, what happened to the home run chase? And when Sosa was playing, when a McGuire at bat would happen in his game, they'd throw up the double screen so you could see. Yeah, it was.
That's insane. Yeah.
That saved baseball there for a while, buddy. That was, some people would argue that maybe it ruined baseball too, but I was all in. Everybody was all in at that time. That was a lot of fun. Threw this question out there today on Twitter. If you're building a Mount Rushmore of NHL goal scorers, who are the 4 faces up on the mountain goal scoring? We're not talking greatest player of all time. We're not the 4 greatest goal scorers in the history of the game. Kass, who would you have up on that mountain?
Greatest goal scorers. Ovi.
Mount Rushmore of goal scorer. Okay, Ovi.
Yeah, Ovi's got to be there. Gretzky's got to be there.
Yeah.
Man. Now, I got to think the rest. How do you split it? Because do you want to put on a Mario Lemieux?
To me, Mario's an automatic. He's the all-time leader in goals per game.
Per game, yeah, but numbers. He's outside of the top 10, and now I know that's with 300 or 400 or 500 or 600 games last played. Yeah, but Mario's probably got to be there, and then Gordie Howe probably has to be there.
You make a good point on Mario. Mario's an automatic for me, but you make a good point on. I don't know. He's the. I think he might be the most talented goal scorer ever. To be honest with you, Mario. So to me, he's on there for sure. The 4th one I think is a little bit debatable, but
the 5th one's the tough one to me because I have Gordie up there too.
4 on a mountain.
Oh, there's only 4?
There's only 4 on Mount. Have you never seen Mount Rushmore, Kass? There's only 4.
Yeah, I thought there was 5. Give me a break.
There's 4. So, to me, Bossy is highest goals per game.
Yeah.
Bossy's the other one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's really a debate to me. It's Mario, Bossy, Ovi, Wayne. But Trev, what do you think?
I've got Ovi.
Yeah.
I've got Bossy.
Yeah.
I've got Gretzky.
Yeah.
And because like I'm a big, like I have a hard time like saying what if Lemieux played. Like I get that, but that does, you have to, unfortunately you have to look at that. So I would put Lemieux, obviously he had a full career. He'd be right up there. Who knows? He might be holding that record that Ovechkin just broke, but just because, I mean, he's up there. I'm not honestly a big fan. And it's like hockey era. It's way different back then, but I'd probably put Gordie Howe.
You throw Gordie Howe on there.
Yeah. I think Lemieux should be in there, honestly.
Where's Gordie Howe in the all-time goals per game?
I don't know.
He's got to be low.
That's a good question.
Got to be a
Like
little low.
like I'm looking
It's
right
still
now.
high. Like,
What's that,
still,
Cass?
it's still gonna be. It's still gonna be
still
high. Like, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like out of the elite goal scorers, I don't think it's in the top 10, top 50, maybe.
I don't see him yet. I'm on page 2.
Because he played for like, you have to think.
Am I wrong here?
How long did he play? 30 years?
Where is Gordie Howe in here? I mean, he had the record prior to Wayne. Where is he?
Over a 30-year span.
I must have missed him. Where is he? What's going on here? He's got to be. I must have missed him. Let's see. What did he have? He had 801 in 1767.
Quick math.
Okay, let me go back to my. I got the all-time goals per game leaders right here. So what did I say he had? Oh, here he is. He's 54th. He's 54th all-time in goals per game, right behind Steve Yzerman, Steve Shutt, and Joe Sakic, just ahead of Mike Bullard and Mikko Rantanen. So
It's like he played a long time. That's why.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. To me, it's Bossy, it's Lemieux, it's Ovechkin, it's Wayne. And the other name, and I've said this a few times, but Pavel Bure I'd have in the mix too.
Pavel.
Brett Hull. I mean, the Hulls, both Hulls.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him.
But there's only 4 spots in the mountain. So you kind of got to suck it up and make a decision. So you said, Cass, who are your 4? Who'd you go with? You said Ovi, Wayne.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Gordie, but you guys may have convinced me here.
I mean, yeah.
Bossy, you have to. Yeah. So you probably got to go Ovi, Gretzky, Bossy, and Lemieux.
And
That's
Mario.
it. That's my 4.
That's what I said. I mean, I think we just have the same 4.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Bossy and Mario, if they had stayed healthy, they might have had the record over Wayne anyway. You know what I mean? Like, so it's
honestly, it's crazy because I've been looking at the DBs a lot, just checking in because obviously I like looking at the history of hockey and the goals scored. You know, it's obviously Ovechkin's been very consistent, but only being a 60 goal scorer once, and then just looking at what Gretzky and Bossy and Lemieux were able to do in a single season. Like it makes you like raise your eyebrows. You're like, holy crap, these players were potting 80, 90 goal seasons. Like it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I can't fathom that. Like, I don't know. It's honestly.
well, there was like years where in the 80s, 50 guys or 9 guys scored 50.
Yeah.
And there was a stretch from like 2012 to 2018 where Ovi had 4 seasons. Nobody else had one until Draisaitl got one in 2018.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
changed so
different eras for sure. Okay, so let's dive into Hire It or Fire It, presented by GS Construction, of course, as is 2 Guys and a Goalie. GS Construction, always hiring, including, of course, right now. Become a part of their great team today by visiting gsconstruction.ca or their page on indeed.ca. For the past 50 years, the foundation of GS Construction has been built on efficiency, quality, and safety. Take your career to the next level. Join the team at GS Construction today. All right, let's go here. I've added a few. The Oilers should start Calvin Pickard in Game 1 of the playoffs. Hire it or fire it. Kaz, where do you come out on this?
Here the people are going to lose it. You always ask these questions, and people are going to just get mad at me. I'm so mad all the
Maybe
time.
you shouldn't be a Skinner stan. Am I right, Kaz? Hey.
They should start Skinner. So fire it.
I think I'd start Skinner too, just because if he struggles, you're in a comfortable spot going to Pickard as the backup.
Yep.
That might be the wrong way to look at it. Trev, where do you go on this one?
I originally thought like the idea of Pickard starting game 1 until you gave that theory, that logic. I like that a lot. It makes a lot more sense to me.
Then going to Skinner off the bench, when he's not that guy.
Yeah, and was it Rashog or Darren Drager we had on the Nielson show the other day? He brought that up. Like, what does it do to Stuart Skinner? He was your guy all last playoffs.
Game 7, Stanley Cup final.
And then this year, all of a sudden, you're not the starter come game 1. Like, that's got to mess with your it's got to mess with you, right? You got to be like, oh, like I lost the crease. Are you kidding me? So, no, I agree with you guys. I think Skinner's got to be the goalie game 1.
Kevin Bieksa is the best analyst in hockey circles right now. Hire it or fire it?
Hire it.
You think so?
I love him.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
I'm trying to think of who else you throw up there. I mean, I think Gazdik's good. He's going to only get better. I don't get to watch TSN hockey really that much. Kass, are you raising your hand for yourself?
Of course I am.
Sorry to disrespect you by not saying fire it, Kass. I agree.
Yeah, no. I'm going to hire it too, guys. I think he's the best right now for me. Like he brings a good balance of humor, but depth to his answers. And I think making some things accessible for people in a way. So he's really good. Gazdic is good too. Love Luke. Yeah. Even though he punched me in the face multiple times, I punched him as well. But yeah, I do. I think I appreciate him the most. And you know what is great too? And just being on the TV, like I love his facial expressions, and I hated them when you're playing. Like he had a punchable face when you're playing, where it's like you just wanted to sucker the guy because you just would give you that look back. But now I appreciate it so much more, and even watching, I'm like, that's great. It just the expressions make me laugh too. So
I remember when he played for Canada at the Spengler, my first or second year there, and I had like a 6-minute sit down one-on-one with him that we recorded for one of the intermissions. And I left that interview going like, oh man, like this guy's going to be in the media as soon as he wants. Like he's very smooth. Yeah, he's very smooth.
Breath of fresh air. He's won a lot of people over.
I think so too.
Like Kass said, like I couldn't stand him as a player. I'd just be so annoyed. But it's just a complete 180. Like on camera, he's like, okay, this is exactly what they need. I think he's funny. He's smart. I like what he has to say. I agree with almost everything. I really enjoy.
Shout out to a Sportsnet analyst, Joaquin Gage as well.
Yes.
They're here on Two Guys A Goalie. Got to give our boy Gage some love as well. All right, let's go with this one. I think I know what your answer will be, Trev, but chocolate milk is the GOAT of beverages. Hire it or fire it?
Fire it. How is chocolate milk the GOAT? How?
You're talking to two major chocolate milk lovers.
I think he's messing with us.
You're joking. Like, this is a funny joke. Is this a prank? Kass,
remember,
playing on us?
I always forget that you guys are 12, right?
No.
How is chocolate milk the GOAT? No, I like chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is good.
My beverage of choice would be chocolate milk. What would your beverage of choice be if you were about to get a needle in you?
I'd probably get. I mean, you're going something a little more fancy. Like what kind of like fancy, expensive, like some. I'm sure like you get like a Louis XIV cognac or something like.
Oh, a fancy boy! Fancy boy.
Like when you get like what you're just gonna go? No, I want chocolate milk.
Yes, a big cold glass of chocolate milk.
Or
correct.
Like you gonna dump like Quicks, or are you gonna ask for like regular milk and you can dump your own chocolate syrup in there?
I want chocolate milk from the store. That's what I want.
Right, from the brown cow.
Dairyland. What'd you say your brand is? You like
Beatrice.
Beatrice chocolate milk is pretty good too.
Best chocolate milk in the world.
You might not have been, if you weren't listening this morning, Trev, you got to tell Kass what you do with chocolate milk.
I was going to start off the show asking if he was a big chocolate milk guy, and I'm learning he's an okay chocolate milk guy. But yeah, my confessions every Tuesday, Spectrum Rental, weekly confessions. I like to confess things, and I've probably been doing this for more than 12 years, and it's kind of just been a thing I do more than I'd like to admit, maybe. But I pour myself probably the tallest glass of chocolate milk at night. I put it by my bed, and I let it sit there overnight. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's like room temp, and I just guzzle it back. It's the best.
That can't be good for you.
It is.
I love chocolate milk, and I have it in the morning.
Why can't you keep it in the fridge and have it?
I like room temp. Like
do you not put, and you don't put ice in, no, because that would water it down. So you don't put ice in it.
Oh gosh, I would never even think of putting ice.
No,
in
you put ice in chocolate milk. What are we, children? Come on,
I can't.
Or you can.
I don't
put it in the microwave, but I've done that maybe a handful of times. But no, I like warm chocolate milk, like lukewarm.
I don't know what to say right now.
When you told me that this morning, when you're like, I like a glass of chocolate milk before bedtime, and then I put another one next to the bed and drink it warm in the morning. I was like, and I love it. I have chocolate milk like almost every day, but
it's not.
Like that's so,
honestly, there's a lot different benefits from doing it. If you look it up on Google, you could.
Is there really health benefits from
overnight chocolate milk?
Makes you sleep better. Good for your digestion. Look it up.
Having what? No, not having it before bed. Not having it before bed. That I don't have a problem with having a glass before bed. That's fine. It's the glass in the morning.
The warm glass
sitting out. The warm glass that's been sitting out collecting bacteria.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
I love
like how long do you sleep? Like 20 minutes? Like are you on like a 20-minute nap? Like you up in 20 minutes? Like we talking like 6 or 7 hours? Like wow, I can't. I'm gonna have a hard time wrapping my head around this.
Don't knock it until you try it, Kass.
Double A in the chat says overnight sat out milk does not have health benefits. I just like my wife always has like her water bottle, and when she gets up in the morning before she gets out of bed, she'll crush like a huge bottle of water. I just got to get up and go to work and maybe sometimes stop on the way in and get a chocolate milk. But I just love to imagine you sitting on the edge of your bed in the morning, like waking up, reaching over, grabbing your warm glass of chocolate milk and taking it down.
I chug it.
You're such a beauty, buddy. Like,
thank you.
God. Oh, we are having chocolate milk tomorrow morning on the show.
I'll bring some in.
Guaranteed. I mean,
will it be warm? Are you going to leave it out overnight just so guys get the full experience?
You can pour it at the first 10 minutes of the show and don't drink it till the last 10 minutes of the show.
it's too good, man. I love this story. What was one of you?
Seriously.
You've had some good confessions. I think punching yourself in the nose until you bleed is your best one, but this one's right up there. All right, we've got EST Afternoons coming up. The Reed Wilkins Show will be live from 3 to 6 from Bellinskona today. So if you want to head down there after work, have a bevy with the boys. And then, if you don't have tickets yet to the Bids for Kids event, hop online, grab those as well, because we'd love to have you out for that charity event. Tonight, myself, Reed, and the Ford brothers will be live on our YouTube channel as well around 6:45. But what's coming up on EST Afternoons, Zach Tickham? What do you guys have?
Well, it'll be Matawanek still sitting in. No Joaquin Gage, of course. Trev filling in on this show. Great job. Besides chocolate milk takes,
guy, eh?
But
that's very nice.
We'll have a full show, Heat and Smoke today. I'll be testing the boys with some hockey trivia, no chocolate milk questions once again. And Stu Cohen from the Montreal Gazette will be joining us to talk about the fiery hot Canadians, and of course Ivan Demidov coming over from the KHL for the remainder of the season. So it should be good. A bit of Rodrigue talk and stuff like that. But I can't get over the chocolate milk, I got to say.
That's okay. Give it
Zach, I thought you'd be a chocolate milk guy.
Put air on your
like a large
It's not
toddler,
a warm chocolate milk, dude.
Makes
It's
you
like
a man.
have hot chocolate.
Makes you a man.
Yeah, where do you come out on hot chocolate?
Well, that's the thing. Like I didn't realize that we were talking about it in the hangout room. I was like, it's essentially hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate.
No,
It's not essentially.
It's not hot chocolate. It's warm room temperature chocolate
A little
milk.
bit of gray area there, I suppose. Just one thing quickly.
Yeah.
This was awesome, boys. Thanks for letting me. This was awesome.
We'll see you on Thursday, Trev.
No, this
Yeah.
is great. I've I listened to the show religiously when I was in college, so this is
There you go.
really
Now you
really
made
cool being on here with you guys. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll have you back on Thursday if you'll have us.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Yes, of course.
All right. For Matt Kassian and YouTube Trev, I'm Dustin Nielson. Stick around for EST Afternoons. We'll see you tonight at the Bellinskona as well. Take it easy.